when I get a chance to talk to people and shake people's hands and hear their Big Apple Inn story, and believe me, everybody who walks in these doors has a Big Apple Inn story. They've been eating down here for generations. Their grandfather bought them, their great-grandfather bought them, or whatever. Everybody has a Big Apple Inn story. That brings joy to my heart. That's the reason I do what I do. You know, I have other jobs that I do just to make sure that my employees get paid. But I love the Big Apple Inn, and I love working on Ferry Street because I'm satisfied.
You ain't gotta hate cause I'm pressure. I know that you wanna get down with me. Everybody think that they next up. Put the work in and time will see. I feel the love, I feel the love. I know that you wanna get down with me. Can't break us up, can't break us up. I know that you wanna get down with the wave.
My name is Geno Lee. I'm the 4th generation owner of the Big Apple Inn here on Ferry Street and in North Jackson. We're the oldest restaurant in Jackson. We've been open for 84 years. We opened our doors in 1939. The Big Apple Inn started, as I said, 84 years ago by my great-grandfather. He was a Mexican immigrant, never legal, an illegal alien, came to Mississippi in 1930 and tried to figure out a way to make a living, worked on a railroad for a while, couldn't make a living because my great-grandfather was a short, fat Mexican man. When I say fat, I mean fat. He stood 4'11" tall and he was 4'11" wide. I think the doctor, when they told him to get into shape, he chose a circle. But anyway, he couldn't work in the railroad very well, so he decided to make his grandmother and mother's handmade, homemade hot tamales. Stood on the corner and with a fire in the ground with a tin drum and sold his tamales 1 block south of here in front of the Alamo Theater. In 1939, an opportunity came for him to actually open up a storefront business. There was a business on Ferry Street that was going out of business, and the guy asked my great-grandfather, "Do you want the business? I'll let you have it for $100. He didn't have $100. Back in 1939, $100 was a lot of money. So he and his son chipped in, and they both put up $50 and opened the Big Apple Inn. When they first opened up in 1939, they only sold hot tamales and fruit, and that's how it got started. People can go anywhere to get a hamburger, they can go anywhere to get a pizza, they can go anywhere to get fried chicken, because you know, when you want a pizza, you know where to go. When you want a hamburger, you know where to go. But when you want a smoke, which is a red roast smoked sausage sandwich, or you want an ear, which is a pig ear sandwich, you know where to go. Because there's only one place to really go, and that's the Big Apple Inn. We first started out when my great-grandfather first sold hot tamales. He wanted to make another sandwich. Well, downtown there was a local packing plant called Jackson Packing Company, and they had something called a red roast smoked sausage. It's a smoked sausage that was very, very bright red. It was dyed bright red. And my great-grandfather figured out this great thing, that if you take the casing off the smoked sausage, smash it up, put it on a slider bun with a mustard sauce, slaw, and a homemade hot sauce, it makes an incredible sandwich. And that's our signature sandwich we've been selling very well for the last 84 years. Now, running a close second is a pig ear sandwich. And the pig ear sandwich came because back then they didn't have refrigeration. So my great-grandfather had to go to the Jackson Packing Plant and pick up his sausage every morning to bring to the restaurant to prep to cook. Well, the owner of Jackson Packing Company said, "Well, John, Big John, I have these pig ears that we're doing nothing with. Do you want them?" He said, "I'll figure out something to do with them." Took them back to the restaurant and figured out if you boil a pig ear for 3 days, you can get it tender enough to eat. Well, now we pressure cook a pig ear, and it's a commodity. People come from all over the world to come try a pig ear sandwich. In fact, if you Google pig ear sandwich, it's probably going to take you to the Big Apple Inn. If you Google the most interesting sandwiches in the United States, it'll probably take you to Mississippi to the Big Apple Inn. I think the most rewarding thing about running a restaurant or just being self-employed, and I think this is a big misconception about people who want to be self-employed. People who want to be self-employed or enter into entrepreneurship think that the greatest thing is not having a boss. But that's not the greatest thing. The greatest thing, I think, is loving what you do. When I first bought the restaurant from my father, and when he got it from his father, the first thing my father told me and the first thing that his father told him, and they sat us down at the table and said, "Geno, you'll never be rich." And I'm like, "Well, that's the most encouraging thing you have to tell me?" And they said, "Oh, I'm not finished." He said, "But you'll always be satisfied." If I had any advice to give to an upcoming entrepreneur or an upcoming restaurant owner or somebody that wants to be self-employed, I would say this: don't work for money. Work for enjoyment, work for satisfaction, work for love, work for excellence. I think that if you work for satisfaction, work for love, work for excellence, the money will come. But if your money is your overall goal, or if that's your God, or if that's your desire, it will never come, because then you don't love the people, you don't love your employees, you don't love the business. You just have that almighty dollar at the forefront of your focus. Get that out of your focus. Love what you do. If you love what you do, everything else will fall into place.